Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I'm Jonathan West, and welcome to the Howler. Week 9 of the college football season is upon us, folks, and it is rivalry week. And you could say rivalry week 1 of 2. Because this week, your Sanford College Coyotes head to UConn. They head down to Connecticut as they're going to face off against their rival Huskies as they get ready for the return next week of former Sanford quarterback John Scott. Now, we'll talk plenty more about that game next week. And I'll tell you, folks, the school is hyped about next week's game. And a lot of focus seems to be towards next week. But these players, I got a word with some of them. Most importantly, Grant Fink, the quarterback here at Sanford. And after a very, very good game last week against Navy, he seems ready to go this week. He was hyped when I got to talk to him. I asked him about the perfection that was last week's ball game. And I did get one word from him, and I quote, "It's the first and probably last time I'll ever be perfect, but the confidence is now sky high. I'm going to go in to next week, do it again, and then Scott better be careful because I'm at my A game." So apparently, the words are being thrown here from the Coyotes already before next week's ball game. But this team is ready for this week and next week. I can guarantee you of that, folks. It's a big, I don't want to say fight feel, but it's a big game feel this week, as there was a recruit who did commit last week, Tevin Williams, the defensive end. This is a very interesting signing for Sanford. He is more of a run stuffer that can pass rush. A very interesting one there. Another recruit, and there were a number of them, we'll go over all of them here, that committed was running back Chase Earnhardt out of Tennessee. He's a very, very fast running back. This kid's got speed. Now, he's not going to be the strongest man on the football field. Don't expect him to probably break a ton of tackles or anything. But he can move. And because of that, it's going to allow him to outrun a lot of the competition. Expect for him to be very similar to Dwayne Jones-Carter in some respects. Another player who committed, a little bit of a surprise actually for Sanford, was Jack Collins. The brother, of course, of the optometrist, Chad Collins. And nobody expected Jack to commit as quick as he did. He will play strong safety from all accounts, and he is a very solid cover guy. So it'll be very interesting to see if they maybe decide to move him over to free safety to play more of a ball hawk role. Now let's get to some players who it's not a surprise that they committed here to Sanford. Ryan Harlow, the outside linebacker. Now Harlow, a very, very talented player. He's got solid coverage skills, and I tell you what, if he wants to pass rush, he can pass rush. So it's going to be fun to have him in his, I'm expecting a little bit of a hybrid defensive end linebacker position. Ought to be very interesting, especially with the Payne brothers, from all accounts, going to see some distinct playing time next year. Another player who has committed is the JUCO guard Hyatt Red Farmer. Now, of course, he's played this past year in junior college, and he's played very well. The issue is his run blocking. So it's very skeptical of where exactly he could play. There's been a lot of talk of possibly moving him out to left tackle and having him just play that left tackle spot. So a lot of rumors going around with Hyatt Red Farmer. And finally, Danny Faraday. Yes, indeed, the younger brother of Shea Faraday. Now, Danny is going to be that low on the totem pole quarterback from all accounts. He's got a decent arm. It's nothing to write home about, but he's very accurate. He will hit his target more than likely. So it's a very strange situation, and he's not as fast as you would think they're looking for a quarterback in this scheme. So it'll be very interesting to see how Faraday fares in the quarterback room next year, especially a very young room of quarterbacks. Now, the players of the week for this past week, you had Terrence Armstrong, the outside linebacker at Temple, and Brian Bowling, the quarterback for Memphis. Very good game for both men. Conveniently, Memphis getting a big W over UConn. So the Huskies can't be happy that they now have to see their rival Coyotes. Now let's talk about the American Conference standings. Well, folks, you see it on your screen. Houston 1, Sanford 2. Makes next week a little more interesting if it stays that way. However, once again, we're not talking about next week just yet. It's a very interesting situation this week with Sanford and UConn. UConn at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the AAC standings. And Sanford really, I think, that loss to LSU has almost really forced them to try and be better. It's a very interesting concept, I think, that this team has kind of gone through since the LSU loss. We've seen how they played. There was a little bit of struggle against East Carolina for Grant Fink after taking all those hits, but he's really bounced back well against Navy, and he's got another chance to bounce back here against UConn. Now, the top 25, Sanford is at least in the top 10. There is still a chance this team could see a national title berth, and there aren't a ton of teams in front of them with only 1 to no losses. So I would not count out the Coyotes from possibly seeing that national championship. It's going to take a lot of good play from this football team, and it's going to have to take a lot of dominance, I think, for this team to really find their footing in the national title race. Either way, though, I think it could be a big opportunity for Sanford if they continue to stay on the winning ways. I think the conference championship game, no matter who they're up against, is going to play a big part in that. Now, let's talk about the games we're going to see this weekend. It's Sanford at UConn, the big one to watch, but watch out for Houston at Cincinnati. Keep your eyes on that one, folks. It's going to play big, I'm sure, into next week's ball game. Now about this UConn football team, they have a very solid quarterback in senior QB Larry Williams, stands at 6'4", 229, and he is a very solid player. The only issue here, this is not a big pass-heavy offense. Williams has some speed to him, he can run, and they like him to run. So expect to see a lot of what we've seen from other teams here in the college football ranks. A quick-moving quarterback, for some reason, high-powered rushing attack, and no-huddle offense. That's what we've got to expect this week. And Chris Ford is going to be a big part of that. He is the running back here for UConn, 6'1", 220. Has only rushed for 500 yards so far, but he's averaging 92.3 a game. So he has looked very good in every single ball game. Now on the defensive side, Mike Jones is the man to watch. He is arguably their best player on defense, and he is a dominant factor in the tackle game, as well as can play the field with his coverage skills very well. So don't take Mike Jones lightly just because he's only 6'1". Another guy to watch is free safety Robert McDaniel. He has had the Sanford Coyotes number. He has gotten interceptions in nearly every game he has played against Sanford. We'll see if that continues this weekend against a very solid Grant Fink running things. And now the player to watch, it's Glenn Butler, the redshirt senior corner. Now he's had a solid season so far, only 1 interception. But he's played very well. Expect for him to try and double cover Josh Williams. Now let's talk about the Coyotes and their offensive firepower. It's all about Graham Fink, the redshirt sophomore quarterback, who's had a very big sophomore slump, I'd say. 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. It hasn't been the prettiest year, but he's making it work, and that's what's important about that. Now, a big target for him is, of course, the 6'7" sophomore tight end, Garrett Theory. Now, my theory is that we're going to see a lot more of the tight end in action as the season goes on. It looks like early this year, Theory was kind of an afterthought. It was about getting that ball to Williams. Now, as the season has gone on, we are starting to see Theory get more involved with this passing attack. I'm expecting to see a lot more as the season goes on. Now, Shea Faraday, he's had a solid year. He's already outdone his sack total from last year, and he's adding an interception to that. So I'd call this junior year a bounce back. but he still has to put in more production with Scott Boyd on the other side. And here's a player that has just shown up very, very well this year. Jovan Cohen, the senior outside linebacker. He's taken over perfectly at that right outside linebacker spot. Taking over for Dylan Trevor and really making us kind of, I don't want to say forget, but he's really filled that void very well. Strong safety Tyrone Justice, another player who's playing very, very well in his first year starting. Tyrone Justice has 26 tackles alone and a quarterback sack as well as a pick. He's looking like a machine and serving justice all year long. And the player to watch for Sanford, well, it's none other than number 10 himself, Josh Williams, the senior receiver. Nearly 500 yards already, averaging 80 yards a game, 5 touchdowns, and only 25 receptions. So Sanford is looking very, very good so far, and it will be very interesting to see if they can keep that up. That's going to be a key component, I think, in this ball game. And now don't be surprised to see if Sanford tries to look elsewhere this week against this defense. And when I say elsewhere, I'm not talking about just theory or really just looking at other receivers. I'm expecting them to look anywhere and everywhere for an offensive push. I'm talking running backs could be very, very effective. It's going to be a very strange game, I have a feeling, because it's rivalry week. You're gonna see a lot of what the team that knows you best can bring. I'm expecting to see really everything that this UConn team has to offer. I'm not expecting them to just play lightly. I'm not expecting them to come out and try and beat this Sanford team with what they do best. I'm expecting them to counteract nearly everything. The key component, I think, comes down to that secondary for UConn. Are they going to try and stop Grant Fink from being perfect 2 weeks in a row? Are they going to come out and try and shut down the deadliest weapon on the football field in Josh Williams? And is that going to make room for the deadly group of running backs in Baker, Dwayne Jones-Carter, and Chad Collins? There's a giant question marks all over this football game, and really they're all positives, I would say, in the way for the Coyotes. Not to mention, these Coyotes, we've talked about it plenty already, they're not just playing for this week, they're playing for momentum going into the big return of former Sanford quarterback John Scott next week. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a very interesting one, to say the least. But once again, it is rivalry week. It's when everything gets pulled out of the playbook. So that's all the time we've got for this week, folks. Thank you for joining us here on The Howler. I've been Jonathan West, and you've been watching the Coyotes Football Network. We'll see you this weekend. Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I'm Jonathan West, and welcome to Rentschler Field as it is game day here in rivalry week. Sanford taking on the UConn Huskies as the Coyotes battle their rivals once again. And this is a big game, folks, leading into, of course, a kind of double feature rivalry week. It's UConn this week and the return of John Scott next week. It's going to be a very interesting situation with how the AAC is lining up. If Sanford is able to take down the Huskies, who have really, for the most part, since Sanford has popped into the NCAA, they've had their number. Sanford just recently starting to pick up some heat. If they can get a big win here this week, then it's all the momentum riding back up to Maine and getting ready for the return of an old friend. It's UConn, Sanford. It's going to be a fun one. It's rivalry week, folks. And we are off here as UConn gets us underway. Brandon King, the man who's going to return this one. And he's got some speed to him, but he gets hit hard. Going to be a return to about the 20-yard line. And out comes the player to watch today, Josh Williams. He had 4 catches for 56 yards in last week's game against Navy. We'll see how they go here as they start on the ground. And Brandon Bolden with the big hit on Joe Baker. No gain on that last play, so Williams now the man in motion, and they're going to go to the air. And wide open downfield, it's Nick Brown, the backup tight end. And what a pass play to begin the air raid, as that is a 40-yard gain. And Brown just makes a nice cut, gets the separation, and from that point, all it takes is Fink hitting him in stride, and a big 40-yard gain takes place. First and 10 now for Sanford as the pitch goes out to Chad Collins. The optometrist takes it for a gain of 6 around that left side. Second and 4 now as Fink now going to the right side with the ground game. It's going to be Joe Baker for a gain of 6. It's a 3-headed monster in that backfield. And we'll see if they utilize all 3 heads this week as a screen set up here on first down. Baker with a gain of 6 on the screen there. Can't find a ton of room, but he does find enough to have a solid gain here. Second and 4, and here's the 3rd head of the monster, and Dwayne Jones-Carter shows the strength. Powers through 2 men, finds just enough for the first down. As here comes the, I'd say, reserve head in Tyrese Baker. No relation to Joe. A gain of 9 on that run as the senior quarterback really has been useful in the running game this year. Second and 1, Fink out of the full house. He's looking to throw, had time, and over the middle connects with the wrong jersey. That is Glenn Butler, the corner, and really the player to watch for UConn. I didn't expect to see Glenn Butler make a play, especially this early in the ball game. But Fink was looking for Adam Gillette, who's been a big target down near the red zone this year. And it didn't go his way as Butler took that one away. And now it's UConn's first offensive drive of the day. And Ford's got room. A big 18-yard run to start things for Chris Ford. He's had a solid year so far, and it's just going to get better with runs like that. First and 10 now in the shotgun. It's a play fake and downfield. That one's taken away, Keith Darby. Monkey see, monkey do with the interceptions, except this time to the 10-5 touchdown Sanford. It's a little different of an ending with Darby taking it back home. And Larry Williams, he wanted his man. He wanted his top target. But you can't do that with Keith Darby in the vicinity. That young man has just been flawless, and he's only a sophomore. We'll bring you to a studio update now as there is a final in Cincinnati, and it looks like Houston's coming into Sanford next week. Perfect. 7-0 as they win 37-31. Big victory to look out for here is an upset Minnesota over Michigan, 41-34. That's a big upset as Utah also upsets UCLA, 42-38. Welcome back, everyone, to UConn here as the Huskies are looking for a better ending to this offensive drive, and it starts out just as bad as that is Scott Boyd. Both of these defensive ends have had much better years than last, and Boyd has had a phenomenal senior year. He is really showing off for those NFL scouts. Scouts, take notice. This man's got NFL talent. Second and 19 now after the Boyd sack. Man in motion is the tight end, and Williams going to drop back over the middle quickly. Hits his tight end, Bill Frank. That's going to be a 6-yard reception and make it, I guess you can call it a more manageable 3rd and 13. So 13 yards is what they need as Williams looks to throw. Downfield wide open, Jerome Cox. 30 yards on the diving grab as he gets behind Wesley Wolf, who was set up in the flats. And just behind, I believe, Jovan Cohen, who was supposed to play back a bit further from the looks of things. First and 10 now in the I form. Handoff goes to Chris Ford. Ford had a little bit of room, but he's cut short as Scott Boyd able to trip him up. Only a gain of 3. Second and 7 now. Shotgun formation. Williams takes the snap. He's going to throw it again. And he connects with Porter. Over the middle, it's Antoine Porter for a gain of 3. As they've been throwing the football a lot more than expected. We've been expecting more of a run game and just haven't seen it. And they've been running a pro-style offense. A lot of people expected the no huddle, I myself included. But nonetheless, it's a 5-yard gain here for Chris Ford as he's going to pick up a new set of downs. But as I was saying, nonetheless, a very surprising offense here from the UConn Huskies. As Williams hands off now to Ferguson, who's checked in, but he gets hauled down real quick. That's only going to be a gain of 2. Faraday, the man who really brought him down. Second and 8 here. Shotgun formation once again for Williams. Man in motion is Bill Frank. Moves back as Williams sets up the screen. That's Chris Ford, and he is slowed down. Only a 4-yard reception as he didn't get far. This team has played very well when it comes to sideline to sideline. These linebackers have been absolutely amazing. As, look at that. Would you believe it if I told you that was Gordon Sutton, one of the really depth corners? I mean, that was amazing. As UConn will take their field goal, it's up and good. Well, what a play by Gordon Sutton as we take you to another update. Navy and Memphis just really getting going. It's a 7-0 lead early here for the midshipmen as they try to bounce back after last week's shutout by Sanford. Well, we got 52 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of play in Connecticut as a handoff goes to Dwayne Jones-Carter, and the speedster can't find as much room as he wanted, but he will gain 6. Second and 4, possibly the last play of the first quarter, and a deep ball to Josh Williams. Big 37-yard gain for the top target. The senior was left open in the middle of the field, and Grant Fink took it. And it winds up with another big play for the top guy. As it is 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Sanford on top. And if they can continue this drive looking as good as it has been, they'll score more points. Welcome back, everyone, to the Coyotes Football Network. I'm Jonathan West. It's the beginning of the second quarter of play, and a handoff to begin things out of the shotgun to Joe Baker. A gain of 3 on that run. Couldn't find much around that right side. It's 7-3 Sanford on top right now. A 2nd and 7. Fink gonna go long. He wants theory, and that theory is true in the end zone. 37 yards. That is fact, not theory, as what a touchdown for Garrett Theory. He just speeds up the middle of the field. Nobody decides to stay with him as he gets behind the safety. And at that point, it's an easy throw to make and a great play to keep the feet in bounds. First and 10 now for UConn as they have to answer here. Now down 2 scores. It's a 2-yard run here for Chris Ford to begin things. Second and 8 now, shotgun formation. Larry Williams going to take off on the option, and oh, he was double teamed there. Big hits as he's only able to gain 1. Play action here by Williams, and he can't even hit his open target. It was off the mark as that's going to bring up 4th down. Well, Sanford with some very solid field positions. They're already into Husky territory after a nice return by Dwayne Jones-Carter of 15. Baker with a gain of 17, though, to start this drive. Gain of 7 to start this drive around that right side. As 2nd and 3, they'll just go to the optometrist with that fullback run. They like to run him out of that fullback position, and it works out 9 times out of 10. As they go fake fullback, halfback pitch on 3rd down. I'm shocked to see that come out of the playbook, but it didn't work out. It's a surprising play to see him pull out. It didn't get the job done, though, as they had to punt that one away. First and 10 now as the handoff goes to Ford, and he is bottled up quickly. Darby slowed him down, and Woods comes in to finish the job. Second and 11, shotgun formation here for the Huskies. Your man in motion is Bill Frank, and Williams going to go his way as he cut to the inside of the field, and that's going to be a 7-yard gain, makes it much more manageable. 3rd and 5 now. Well, shotgun formation here on 3rd and 5. Williams looking to throw, setting up a screen, but that is the speeded linebacker for Sanford right there. Adam Woods showing the speed. This man is sideline to sideline fast, and he shows it right there as he sees the screen get set up and is right on top of it. First and 10 now out of the I form. Chad Collins was in the game. They've got great field position, and they went for the play action. Downfield went Fink, and taken away Robert McDaniel. Now, this is a play I don't understand here, folks. I get the play action. I get why you call this, and it worked out there for a second. But Grant Fink had all the room to run. I don't know why he didn't take off. That seems like a mistake on his part. He wanted the big play and just couldn't get it. It's 1st and 10 now after the interception for UConn as they are set up in their I formation. Handoff goes to Ford, and he's got running room. He had blocks in play, but they couldn't get there in time. He will, though, pick up 10 and enough for the first down. 1st and 10 with just about 3 minutes to go here left in the first half. Handoff goes to Ford, but he is, well, really blockaded by his own men. Enough defenders came down and forced his own blockers to kind of barricade him in. 2nd and 10, Williams hands off to Ford again, and once again he can't go anywhere. Only a gain of 2 as this Sanford secondary, well, they are a pack of Coyotes right now. 3rd and 8. Screen is set up, but it is shut down. Well, maybe not. At first I thought Wesley Wolf got in there right off the bat, but not so much. There's a flag, though, and it will be on UConn. So a clipping penalty is going to move them back anyways, but it doesn't matter because it's 4th down no matter what. As Sanford takes back over, they still have very solid field position thanks to another solid Dwayne Jones-Carter return. 2nd and 7 after the 3-yard gain by Theory in the flats on the last play. Collins can't go anywhere as it's setting up now 3rd and 7. Well, they're in their bread and butter type formation, and it looks like they want that bread and butter mesh, but they're not going to get it. But Fink going to take off. He's got blocks, and he'll go out of bounds, but I think he could have kept going. He had blocks in play. I would not have been surprised if that could have been the biggest run of his career. But nonetheless, a 22-yard scamper. Well, that's going to put them close to field goal range here for freshman Adam Carr. As Fink to throw again, and Williams can't hang on. He had it in his hands, but just couldn't keep it. The first drop of the year for Josh Williams as they hand off to Dwayne Jones-Carter, and the speed on display as the stutter step leaves men in the dust. Touchdown, Sanford! Dwayne Jones-Carter has shown up this year, not only as a return man, but as a running back and as a just weapon on offense. The young running back is showing off the speed, and it has worked tremendously this year. We have another update here from Annapolis. The first half just about to end. It's 24-3, Navy on top. 1st and 10 now here for UConn as they have just about 20 seconds left to go. Here in the first half is a big run by Larry Williams. He'll scamper out for 14 and a first down. UConn used their first time out after that run, so Williams going to go to the screen here now for Ford, and he gets decked by, I believe, Marvin Clark. Second timeout taken. It was a 9-yard gain on that last play. As 2nd and 1. They go to Porter, but he couldn't get it, and Jovan Cohen almost came up with it. That was a near interception there, folks, as it will bring up 3rd and 1 with 12 seconds left in the first half. Williams to throw, connects with Ford, and he's brought down by Matthew Fowler. The no huddle now in play here for UConn with just 7 seconds, as that misses its intended mark, as that's going to have 2 seconds left on the clock. Looks like a Hail Mary situation here, as they're just going to chuck it deep. It's 3-on-1, and somehow Darby wins that one, deflecting that football away. So we'll head into halftime, 21-3. Sanford on top of UConn. So a great first half. Let's hope Sanford can keep it up. We'll be back with the second half after this. Welcome back, everyone, to UConn. The second half of play just getting underway here. I'm Jonathan West. You're watching the Coyotes Football Network. And it's 21-3, Sanford on top, as Chris Ford going nowhere there on that first run. 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain by Ford. Williams looks to throw out of the empty set, and he finds Porter as he gets hit hard. And who was that? I believe that was Guy Hurd that brought him down. 3rd and 4, man in motion, the tight end Bill Frank. Williams looking to throw, connects with Frank, but he is short of the marker by a long shot. That was Matthew Fowler. Well, it's Sanford football, and once again, great starting field positions. They pitch it out to Joe Baker, but he can't take advantage of the field position. He'll lose a yard thanks to Mike Jones. 2nd and 11. It'll be an option here for Fink, and Fink can't find a ton. He'll only get the 1 yard back. So it'll bring up 3rd and 10. They're in the shotgun. And that trip set is Fink. Connects with Gillette with a tight window. What a throw by Fink, as that's going to be 12 yards and enough for the first down. First catch of the day for Adam Gillette. 1st and 10 with Baker now in the ball game, as Tyrese Baker off the zone read picks up 16. And we're going to take another look at this, as I think he had a chance to pitch in. If he did, I think that would have been a touchdown for Joe. 1st and 10. Fink out of the full house, connects with Williams. He tries to shake one man, can't do so, but he will pick up 16 on that reception. 1st and 10, now offset eye. Fink looking to move. He maneuvers. He's going to take off again. Wide open spaces into the end zone. Touchdown, Sanford. A little too overexcited there for myself, but what a run by Grant Fink. I want to take another look at this. The patience to wait for his right tackle, find the empty spot to run, and able to just find empty spaces in front of him. Wide open spaces led to a touchdown, and it is 28-3 now, as UConn tries to answer. Jerome Cox, though, can only make that catch at the line. UConn in a lot of trouble. 2nd and 10 out of the pistol formation. Williams looks to throw. He finds a wide open Butler, and that's going to be a big gain. Gain of 20 for this UConn offense. Arguably their biggest play today. So that's going to help them a lot, but they're going to need more than that if they're going to want to come back from this deficit. 1st and 10, shotgun formation. Williams setting up another screen, but this defense is ready. That's Dylan Crosby, the big man, brings down Ford for only a gain of 2. 2nd and 8, only about 3 minutes left to go here in this 3rd quarter. It's been a quick third because Sanford has taken time. It's Wadwo Akampong there with the stop of 4. 3rd and 9, Williams tries to hit Clark, but he is attacked there by this secondary. He couldn't hang on, so it will be 4th down, sent back to Sanford. And this is an offense you don't want to face with this type of lead that they have, as Baker can't find room, though, to run. Kent Pope, the man who brought him down for a loss of 3 yards. He's had a rough day today. 2nd and 13, Fink looking to throw back to the curl for Williams, and he's going to pick up, I'd say, about 12.5 to 13 yards. So another nice catch for Josh Williams. as they go into the pistol. As Baker tries to run off the option, and he will get just enough for the first down. 1st and 10 out of the full house. Fink looks to throw. Looking for an open target. Just going to throw that one away. Didn't like Gillette and how covered he was downfield. 2nd and 10. Fink out of the offset eye. Hands off to Baker. He gets around the edge to a bit. He got spun up, but he is able to spin his way to the marker for a gain of 10 and a first down. It's 1st and 10 for Sanford. Less than a minute to go here in the third. They will take their time as they set up a screen. And Baker's got blocks. Past the 30. A nice move there, but he gets caught up on the defender. It will be a 21-yard play, though. And I think this offense will take that plenty. So we see this again. Baker just gets caught up here after this juke. It's a nice juke, but the arm catches Baker. That's really what brought him down. As a handoff here on 1st down to Collins out of that fullback spot, and he picks up 7. He is what they call him, the eye specialist. As it's the end of the third quarter, 28-3, your Coyotes are taking a bite out of these Huskies. We'll be back with the final quarter of play after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Coyotes Football Network. It's the final quarter of play, and it is hopefully the saving grace for the Huskies. As Collins with a first down there with a run of 7 past that left side. Sanford has nearly been untouchable today. It's been a great game to watch as Dwayne Jones-Carter only finds 1 yard there, running right into a defender. It's 2nd and 9. Baker checks back in. They're taking all that clock now as Fink rolling out, sets his feet, hits Gillette, touchdown Sanford. How many times have we seen that this season? They go into their full house. They set up the slant pattern. Rolling out his Fink, he sets his feet, and he hits Gillette on the money. That has been a big play this year, and it has really worked for Adam Gillette. We'll take you to another update. Back at Annapolis, it's 31-19. Navy still taking down the Memphis Tigers as the fourth quarter is underway. Well, we're back here at UConn, and can the Huskies get the offense going is the big question for every Husky fan, I'm sure. Williams looking to throw, going downfield, and it's taken away. Marvin Clark, the ball hawk himself. What a pick. That's just Clark playing that hang time. He knew where it was going, he followed it through, and another interception on the day for, well, both teams pretty much. It's been a fun game to watch defensively. It's a 5-yard gain there for Joe Baker, one of his better of the day. 2nd and 5 now. Fink hands off to Baker again, and he loses the football, but luckily it's picked up by Taylor Moore, so we'll bring up 3rd and 1. It was called back that he was actually down, so Sanford loses a yard, but that doesn't matter for the optometrist. He goes right up the gut with that 6-yard run. The 3-headed beast at running back has been the deadliest thing today. 1st and 10, handoff goes to Baker. He's got blocks. He's got speed around that 30, past the 20, and he gets hit at around the 19-yard line. What a run, though. Good block set up way past the second level. And just a great run by Baker. They go right back to Joe Baker, and he finds the edge again. Past the 5, down, fights, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Sanford. 41-3, of course, pending the extra point to make it 42. Well, folks, I'm surprised the starters are actually still in the ballgame. I actually anticipated to see the backups in here with just under 5 minutes left to go. It's 2nd and 10 after that incompletion. UConn has just not found any offense. Williams Looks to throw again. He connects with Porter. He's slowed down, though, and can find 6 yards. He was able to fight off of 1 tackle and maneuver his way to get 6 yards before going out of bounds. 3rd and 4 here. Can Williams connect for a first down? And he did, but the wrong jersey. That's Guy Hurd with the pick. This has just been fun to watch. This secondary has just been assaulting Williams. I just can't believe it. Starter still in the ball game, surprisingly, as Joe Baker gets another handoff. It'll be a gain of 1 on that carry. Baker's day looking quite nice now after those 2 very nice back-to-back runs. As Dwayne Jones-Carter gets the football again his way, as he's able to fight past 1 guy, able to collect 2 yards as he spun down. 3rd and 6 now. Fink under center. In the I form, they go to Baker, but he is pulled down after a gain of maybe about half a yard, maybe 1 yard at most. They'll take the Adam Carr field goal. It is good. The freshman's got a leg. And, well, we got one more update for you, folks. The game at Navy's over. It's 34-19. The Navy bounced back after the shutout. Well, 1st and 10 here for UConn. They got one more drive. I'd say that's about it. And it looks like the backups are in, because that's Keith Mixon who makes that tackle. A lot of the backups now in the ball game. I'm sure the Payne brothers, or at least one of them, seeing some playing time right now. There's some players that Coach Wolf has wanted to get some more playing time on the field when they bring in the backups. That was, I believe, Quinn Collins on that tackle. 3rd and 8, handoff goes to Ford. And, well, Ford shut down very quickly. And that, folks, is your ball game. The Sanford College Coyotes, I mean, I don't know what you call this. Do you call it a beating? Do you call it a feasting? Do you call it just destruction? They had some bad plays. 2 interceptions thrown by Grant Fink. Both not the smartest throw. The Glenn Butler play, a very good play on his part. The Robert McDonald interception, very poor throw on the part of Fink. But nonetheless, it was just dominance by Sanford, especially that secondary. That Sanford defense controlled the ball game. Your player of the game is Grant Fink, 10 of 14, 196, and a number of carries. Just a phenomenal game once again by Sanford, and to take this momentum of a huge win, 45-3, into next week in what is being really looked at by not only the fans, but I think this team, both coaching staff and players, as one of the biggest games of possibly the season, because we might see it a second time around if things go how they seem they might. I mean, we could see John Scott versus Grant Fink 1 be a hell of a ball game, and then we might have to see it in the AAC championship game. Now, don't count your chickens before they hatch, as I kind of have. I mean, after a game like this, you kind of expect Sanford to win the AAC, but they got a tight one next week as John Scott returns home. Once again, your final from UConn. 43-3.